We're a little lopsided this evening. The temple's going to fall down that way because everyone's on that side of the event. You're going to have to hold up this side. Both of you.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for being here. We are lay leaders. I'd like to thank Carol is always a lay leader every day of the year.
You are too.
But we're going to start on page 11 and page 10 and do a little singing to get going.
Yeah. But I want you to know that this is your service, it's not our service. And we would like to make sure that you all participate. So whenever we're saying anything, it's to be assumed that you're to participate with us. And Amy's going to be the singer.
So we're going to start with, on page 11, with Ki Yishmeira Shabbat. Ki Yishmeira Shabbat El Yishmereni. Ki Yishmeira Shabbat El Yishmereni. Oti leomead beino uveni. Oti leomead beino uveni. Ki Yishmeira Shabbat El Yishmereni. Ki Yishmeira Shabbat El Yishmereni. And on page 10, we'll do Mayafe Hayom. Mayafe Hayom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Mayafe Hayom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. And finally, He Yishmei Matov. He Yishmei Hine Matovu Manayim. Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matovu Manayim. Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov, Hine Matov. La 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 la. Hine Matov, Hine Matov. La 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 la. Hine Matovu Manayim. Shevet Achim Gam Yachad.
I'd like to ask Linda Novak to come forward and light the Shabbat candles. Prayers on page 2.
O God, you are the light by which we see the ones we love. As we kindle these lights, we begin a holy time. May we and all Israel find in it refreshment of body and spirit, and the sense that you are near to us at all times.
Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav b'tzivanu ha'haviliku ner Shabbat.
We praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe. You hallow us with mitzvot and command us to kindle the lights of Shabbat. May we be blessed with Shabbat joy.
Amen.
May
Amen.
we be blessed with Shabbat peace.
Amen.
May we be blessed with Shabbat light.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Page 20. Chadodi. We're going to do 1, 2, 5, and 9.
1, 2, 5, and 9. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmiyan elcham yuchad, Adonai echad, U'shemo echad. L'Shem multiferet v'litila, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha, Ki mekor habracha merosh mekadem nisucha. Sof ma'aseh meshavat techila, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, hitoreri, Ki ba'orek umi ori, uri, uri, shir daberi. Kavod Adonai alayik negila, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, Gam b'simcha u'zutochola, Toch emunei am segula. Boi chala, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela.
Page 24. Shalom
Shalom
Aleichem.
Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharei, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seitzem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Page 26 for the Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba, V'yalma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chaye chom yo u'mechom u'chaye kol beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, u'vizman karib, v'imeru amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach, le'alam al me'amaya, yitbarach, v'yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitbar, v'yitraman, v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, shemei d'kudusha brichu, le'elam il kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damin Rabbi Alma, v'imeru, amen.
Please stand if you're able. Page 28. Baruch Hu et Adonai
Hamavorach, Baruch Adonai Hamavorach, Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidbaro ma'ariv aravim, v'chokma poteach sha'arim, uvidguna mishanei itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umisader et hachokavim, umishrootechem barkir kirtzono, borei yom v'layla, golei or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom uvein layla, umabdil bein yom uvein layla, Adonai Sevaot Shemo. El Chai V'Kayam, Tamid Yimloch, Aleinu Ve'olam Va'ed, Baruch Atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim.
On page 33 at top. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too.
Its
Its mysteries beckon, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant
Torah
Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem, Kivod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed.
Please be
You
seated.
may be seated. Ve'ahavta is on page 36. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, b'vo levav kol nafshecha, u'v'kol me'odecha. V'hayu hadvarim ha'ele, asher nochi mitzavcha, hayom lavlecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shiptecha b'veitecha, uv'leftecha v'derech, uv'shoftecha uv'kumecha, uv'shartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot beinenecha, uv'shartam al mezuzot beitecha, uv'isharecha, leman tizkaru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'yitem kedoshim Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzi etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Emet.
Page 39 on top. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before we ever stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it's eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
And on page 40, Mi chamocha b'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nehedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot oseh pele, nora tehilot oseh pele, malchutecha ravu vanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe Miriam, zei elianu v'amru, Adonai yimloch, Adonai yimloch, le'olam va'ed. V'ne'emar ki fada Adonai et Yaakov, ugalo miyad chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. And the Hashkivenu on page 42. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomrei, nu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomrei, nu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu, Sukat shlomecha v'takmenu beitza tova milfanecha. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al Yerushalayim. Amen. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem.
Please stand if you can. We go to page 46.
Adonai sifatita ufia gitehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzhak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanorah El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'konei hakol, v'zocher hasdei avot v'imahot, u'mevim gula livnei v'neihem, l'man shemo v'yahava, melech ozer u'mashiach u'magen. Baruch atah Adonai, magen Abraham v'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, mechayei hakol atah v'Hoshia, morid hatal, Mechachei chaim b'chesed, mechayei hakol berachamim tovim, somek noflim rofei cholim, umatir asurim, umechayei emenato lishanei afar, michamocha ba'al gevurot, umidom mehalach, Melech memitz u'mechayeh u'matzmiya Yeshua v'ne'eman atah lehayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'simcha kadosh kodashim b'kol yom v'chalu aselach. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
Please be seated. Go to page 55, top. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat.
And on page 57, Reitzei. Reitzei, Reitzei, Reitzei Adonai Eloheinu be'amcha Yisrael u'tefilatam b'ahava tikabel Utehi leratzon tamid, utehi leratzon tamid, avodat Yisrael amecha. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha levadecha, v'yira navod. She'otecha levadecha, v'yira navod.
Page 58, in the middle of the page. We acknowledge with thanks that you are Adonai, our God, and God of our ancestors forever. You are the rock of our lives and the shield of our salvation in every generation. Let us thank you and praise you for our lives which are in your hand, for our souls which are in your care, for your miracles that we experience every day, and for your wondrous deeds and favors at every time of day, evening, morning, and noon. O good one, whose mercies never end, O compassionate one, whose kindness never fails, we forever put our hope in you. For all these things, O sovereign, let your name be praised and blessed. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai. Your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha v'lecha ne'er lahodot.
Page 60, Shalom Rav. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech Adon, lekol hashalom. Ki atahu melech Adon, lekol hashalom. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. B'tov b'necha levarech et amcha Yisrael, b'kol עת ובכל שעה, בשלומך. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Baruch atah Adonai, hamavarech et amo Yisrael, v'shalom.
We take this time in our service for silent prayer, the prayers of your heart.
You l'ratzon nimrefi, lefanecha, Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri, v'goali, v'goali. Oh, say shalom b'mramav, huya say shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yoshvei Tevel, v'yimaru, amen.
We're going to depart from the rabbinical-led service, but we're going to do some Torah study. And we'll start the Torah study with our prayer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedishanu v'tzatzon la'asok b'divrei Torah. And I'm going to be reading the English portion of the beginning of this week's Parsha.
And just before you start, we're starting a new parsha today. We're starting Devarim.
Yes, Deuteronomy has come. Right. These are the words that Moses addressed to all Israel on the other side of the Jordan. Through the wilderness in the Arabah, near Suf, between Paran and Tophai, Laban, Hazeroth, and Dizaheb. It is 11 days from Horeb to Kadesh Barnea by Mount Seir route. It is in the 40th year, on the first day of the 11th month, that Moses addressed the Israelites in accordance with the instructions that the Eternal had given for them. After he had defeated Sihon, king of the Amorites, who dwelt in Heshbon, and King Og of Bashan, who dwelt in Asheroth and Edrei, on the other side of the Jordan in the land of Moab, Moses undertook to expound the teachings. He said, "The Eternal our God spoke to us at Horeb, saying, 'You have stayed long enough at this mountain. Start out and make your way to the hill country of the Amorites and to all their neighbors in the Arabah, the hill country, the Shephelah, the Negev, the seacoast, the land of the Canaanites, and the Lebanon, as far as the great river, the river Euphrates. See, I place the land at your disposal. Go, take possession of the land that the Eternal swore to your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to assign to them and to their heirs after them.' Thereupon I said to you, I cannot bear the burden of you by myself. The Eternal God has multiplied you until you are today as numerous as the stars in the sky. May the Eternal, our God, the God of our ancestors, increase numbers 1,000-fold and bless you as promised. How can I bear unaided the trouble of you and the burden and the bickering? Pick from each of your tribes representatives who are wise, discerning, and experienced, and I will appoint them as your heads." You answered me and said, "What you propose to do is good." So I took your tribal leaders, wise and experienced representatives, and appointed them heads over you, chiefs of thousands, chiefs of hundreds, chiefs of 50, and chiefs of 10, and officials for your tribes. I charged your magistrate at that time as follows: hear out your fellow Israelites and decide justly between anyone and a fellow Israelite or a stranger. You shall not be partial in judgment. Hear our low and our high alike. Fear no one, for judgment is God's. And any matter that is too difficult for you, you may bring to me, and I will hear it. Thus I instructed you at that time about the various things that you should do. Our God is giving to us. See, the Eternal our God has placed the land at your disposal. Go up, take possession, as the Eternal, the God of your fathers, promised you. Fear not, and be not dismayed. Do you want one more?
So this is the first parsha in Deuteronomy. So we could do a chazak, chazak, ubarach, be strong, and be blessed as we start this new and final book of the Torah. Soon we'll be getting to the High Holy Days, and it's always sort of strange to me to be at this very end of this long journey. Devarim, but words, both the name of this parsha and Devarim were the words spoken by Moses to the Israelites as they prepared to enter the sacred land promised to Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Leah, Rachel, and promised to this new generation and all generations to come. Devarim consists of Moses addressing the people directly. In fact, most of Deuteronomy is Moses addressing the people directly. The people Moses addresses are not the generation that left Egypt as liberated slaves. That generation is gone. Moses addresses their children who never knew slavery. Moses addresses, truthfully, all the generations to come. Deuteronomy, Devarim, is also known as Mishneh Torah, or the second law, as much of the book retells events depicted in Shemot, Exodus, Vayikra, Leviticus, and particularly Bamidbar. Several stories are retold with slight differences from the original. We learned in Parsha Shlach Lecha that 12 spies were sent into Canaan. 10 of the 12 spies. All of these spies were leaders of the 12 tribes. And they were sent into Canaan at the direction of God. And after 40 days, 12 spies came back with glowing reviews of the land. They carried a huge cluster of grapes, figs, pomegranates, but also warnings about the current inhabitants, giants, Amalekites, Jebusites, Hittites, and Amorites, all residing in fortified cities. We cannot attack these people. They will crush us like grasshoppers. The spies' report strikes fear in the hearts of the people, asking, why is the Eternal taking us to that land only to fall to the sword? This reaction of the people brings utter and complete disaster to the entire group. Except for Caleb, who spoke out with assurance that the Israelites would indeed succeed in establishing their home in this land, and Joshua, who initially says nothing in response to the spies, but who has already been named as taking the mantle of leadership from Moses eventually. In Shlach Lecha, the people Moses has been leading, the people who received the Torah at Sinai, utterly and completely lose faith in God. In Shlach Lecha, God directs Moses to choose the 12 leaders, the chiefs of the 12 tribes, and see if indeed the land flows with milk and honey. In Devarim, the people opt to use this option. Let their trusted leaders venture into the unknown. In Shemot, Yitro, verses 18 and 19, Moses' father-in-law suggests Moses appoint deputies to judge the people he is leading. In Devarim, Moses himself sets up magistrates for each tribe. Two people are notable. Joshua is chosen to lead the people, and Caleb clearly had faith. Moses, the prophet and leader and the mouthpiece of God, will die in the wilderness. He cannot enter the promised land. Perhaps because not believing God will provide a spring at Meribah, perhaps as a failure of leadership, or possibly perhaps he too belongs to the original generation that left Egypt. Why these changes? Moses is speaking for himself, not for God. Memories do change with time. And perhaps this greatest of all prophets has a selective memory. I like to believe that the original generation could not enter Eretz Yisrael because they were not ready to live as truly free people, or perhaps because these people had already experienced miracles, the parting of the Red Sea, the provision of manna, the giving of the Torah at Horeb, or Sinai as it was called in Shemot. Moses, a prophet and leader and mouthpiece of God, again, will not make it into Eretz Yisrael. Was it a failure of leadership? Honestly, I can't really justify him not. He can see the land, but he can't go in. But his teaching begins with the exhortation to take possession of the land that the Eternal swore to your fathers, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The covenant beginning with Abraham, a voice telling him to go, and he and his progeny will become a great nation, is about to come to fruition. So imagine this and consider these people who have formed a community, a holy community, a community connected to Torah, to the law, and to God, finally reaching their destination, finally ready to enter the land. And to bolster their faith, they see and learn that God has already granted Seir to the descendants of Esau, and given Moab to the descendants of Lot. Now they too will successfully defeat the kings of Sihon and Heshbon and begin to inhabit Canaan. How often have we entered a new phase in our own lives or in the life of our community? How often have we, as individuals, as a family, or as a community, overcome hardships and trauma to begin a new way of living? We often lead repetitive lives, but sometimes we relocate, we move into a new home, we start a new job, begin a new relationship, get married, maybe become parents. As a community, we have chosen new leaders, new rabbis, new teachers. I could mention here that the entire planet is transitioning from a deadly pandemic to a more normal existence with gatherings and social groups. Transitions can be very difficult, but these people have been traveling, have been learning, and they will bring with them to the land the Torah, the law, the memories of the Sea of Reeds, of Sinai, of the years of wandering with the presence of God amongst them. Now they will learn to live the Torah. V'shinamtan levanecha v'dibarta bam. Repeat, learn, teach your children. The words of Torah will come to fruition as the people settle the land. And the words of Torah should live in all of us every day. And I sort of added this as kind of a little bit of addition. Next Shabbat is Tisha B'Av. And according to the Mishnah, 5 tragic events occurred on the 9th of Ad, which require fasting. So, of course, one of them is the 12 spies who scouted the land and returned. And we know that didn't end well. The first temple built by King Solomon was destroyed by the Babylonians after a 2-year siege. And then the second temple, built under the leadership of Ezra and Nehemiah, was destroyed by the Romans, scattering people of Israel throughout the world and away from their homeland. The Romans crushed Bar Kokhba's revolt, killing over 100,000 Jews. And Roman commander Tumus Rufus plowed the side of the temple and the surrounding area under. Normally, Torah is not studied on Tisha B'Av, as studying Torah brings joy and comfort. The exceptions are the reading of Job, Lamentations, and some parts of Jeremiah. So Tisha B'Av is next Shabbat.
Well, we're still thinking about Torah. We will go to Mishaberach.
On page 253. Mishaberach Avotenu Makor HaBracha Limotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach Imotenu Makor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with Refuah Shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
And this week we are thinking especially of Patty Martin, Fred Katz, James Weston, Isaac Stoller, Casimir Cairo, Jeremy Watts, Tiffany Lobertini, Mariah Strickland, Grace Gressley, Eileen Eady, David Woods, Charles Fay, Kim Howell, Julie Wagner, Eleanor Must, Catherine Cooper, Sid Gross, Cicely Nathan, Jim Locke, Gary Pasenick, Bob Kahn, and Steve Samuels. If there's anyone else you'd like to add to the list, please do. Come on, go, Alina.
Page 282, the Elena.
And rise for Alina.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'teit g'dula l'yotzei d'reishi, shelo asan goye harasot, v'lo samanu mishpachot hadama, shelo sam chachenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamanam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, l'fnei melech, Malchei Hamlakim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, V'ne'emar, V'haya Adonai, L'melech al kol ha'aretz, Bayom hahu, Yeh Adonai echad, U'shemo echad.
This time we turn to the thoughts of those who we've lost recently or in days past.
We are observing Shloshim for Monique Margolis, for Rick Bloom, and Mel Kaplan. And this is the yard site of Elizabeth B. Thal, Anna Margolis, Eleanor Brown, Linda Helfenstein, Eugene Lerner, Moses Sanders, Minnie Ettlinger, Rabbi Selwyn D. Russlander, Harry C. Jacobs, Benjamin Krieger, Richard Melnick Wolf, Paula Litwitz, Philip B. November, Dorothy Graff Slavin, Harriet Sanders, William Lapides, Leonora T. Green, Max Mann, Herman J. Wiseman, Meyer J. Bachrach, Max M. Kahn, Carrie Huber, Charlotte E. Schumann, Elsie L. Shumsky, Joshua Evan Levine, Ruth K. Tieber, Raymond Must, John Indelicio, Melvin Lipton, and Hans Henning Gerns. If there is anyone else to add to the yard site list, please say them.
May the memories of our loved ones inspire us to seek in our lives those qualities of mind and heart which we recall with special gratitude. May we help to bring closer to fulfillment their highest ideals and noblest strivings. May the memories of our loved ones deepen our loyalty to that which cannot die, our faith, our love, the devotion to our heritage. As we ponder life's transience and frailty, help us, O God, to use each precious moment wisely, to fill each day with all the compassion and kindness which you have placed within our reach. Thus will the memories of our loved ones abide among us as a source of undying inspiration and enduring blessing. Will those who are in mourning stand first? And the rest of the congregation, please join, if you may.
On page 294. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, v'almad divrach yirutei v'yamlik malkutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei kol beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olmei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'Kedusha brichu. Le'olam yimkol birchata v'shirota. Tushbachata v'nechamata. Da'amiram v'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shalom Rabbah min shemaya. V'chayim oleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'ramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May their memories be for a blessing.
And we will end this evening's service with Ein Keloheinu on page 322.
Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kamoshienu, Mi Keloheinu, Mi Kadonenu, Mi Kemalkeinu, Mi Kamoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Malkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu.
Please join with Amy and me in the
Right.
vestibule
Kiddush
for
and,
Motzi and
Kiddush
pour over the wine.
and Shabbat Shalom.